This is Fantasy Football Till Death.
All right. Week 5 in the books. Onward and upward we go to week 6. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the FFtilD podcast. Of course, Thomas and Sam, we're back at you. Another filmed episode.
Back on video.
And this is a beautiful thing because not only are we back on video, but the real content that the group longs for is back in the chat. Fred's line lives on.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't just live on, it's actually planning on continuing to live beyond this random encounter. We have praying mantises alive, and we're looking at them through the back window. Sam, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to be alive. It's like National Geographic out that window. We strolled out there before we recorded, and oh boy, did we see so much. We saw some moves being made. The line continues. I expect to see some eggs sometime soon. And stay tuned. After the podcast, we're going to go see if Lil Man survived his encounter with Big Lady.
This was your first time. You were actually like enthralled. Like you looked like you were like watching something from the San Diego Zoo or something.
We walked out. There are 3 praying mantis on this bush. And the dude, who's the smallest one, just slowly...
Hey,
he's efficient. Slowly snuck up on the biggest lady.
Relative.
And then in a flurry of motion, all of a sudden he was on the back and they were mating. And we were going to like hang out until they finished to see if then she was
finished. We assumed that it would be short and sweet,
Yeah.
right? I mean, not from experience, but I mean,
Turns out it's a marathon, 1 to 6 hours.
and the reason why it's a marathon is not because of him doing the Lord's work. It's actually, he's trying to be alive to do the Lord's work. So he's trying to camouflage and hide on her back as long as it takes for her to basically forget that he's there and calm down and not kill him. And then when the time's right, he just slips it and rips it.
It's sort of like a Bill Cosby situation, but the whole thing takes 6 hours. So we'll check after the podcast and we'll see if he's still alive out there because he has an opportunity for 2 and 1.
It's the unheralded 2 for 1. And not only that, if you take the same sort of information into account, that would be a potential 12-hour marathon for that man back to back.
Boy.
So hopefully he gets to rest. Maybe I'll go out and mist them with the hose, water him down. Maybe he can get a nice little meal. He looks a little too small for the bees. They might actually do some damage to him.
Yeah, he's more of a fly man, I think.
He's more of the fly. He's definitely more in the fly category.
Yeah.
But it's all good things, man. It's all good things. Not entirely good things for the Shadow Brigade at this point. Losing another tough one. Sam, how are you feeling, I guess, just overall at 1-4, 5 weeks in the season?
Best draft. Best draft. I had the best draft. Spring and I had the best draft going into the season. So I still think my team is sick. I still like my team. I really do. And obviously, it doesn't help having your best wide receiver on bye and everyone else injured last week. That's a tough one. It's tough to win, scoring 78 points, but I don't know, honestly.
Still trucking. I mean, the season it's a third of the way through.
Yeah.
So it's not where you want to be, but there's plenty of time.
I can string together a couple wins.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row. It's very doable. All of a sudden, you're right there.
I really don't think I have the worst team. Like I think I have a decent team. I think I have a pretty decent team.
Well, I think the wild card right now is 3-2. There's a lot of 2 and 3. Like I said, it's early, only 2 games back. That's the beauty of that extended playoff format. So, and you're not going to quit. Obviously, your mind's always going. You have thinking man problems. You think too much almost.
Thought myself out of a couple good players last week. Probably the win was there to be had if I didn't move off Kendrick Bourne so quick or Darren Waller. But come on, who knew before that Darren Waller game a couple weeks ago that he's actually still good?
That was, not I.
Not I.
And then Tyreek goes down. So things are looking up for him. But yeah, quick week 5 recap per usual. Well, actually, before week 5 officially wrapped up, biggest recap or biggest piece of news on my side, just to reiterate to anyone that didn't know, we're welcoming baby number 2 in early April. That baby will be a boy. So we're going to have 2 boys, 0
Squad.
girls, 2-0 lead in the boy department. I guess that was an easy call for most of the league. I was in my gut, I felt like it was definitely going to be boy, but I was like projecting girl because it's a weird position when you get into it. Like you're going to be happy with a healthy baby no matter what. But especially when you start thinking about how many are you going to have, 2, 3, whatever, like it would have been nice to get one of each and just have that peace of mind to have experienced both girl and boy. Now with 2 boys in the horizon, it's like, even if we're not super sold on having 3 kids, there's going to be that part of us that's like, well, we would want to experience a girl. And so do we go for it when I know for a fact would have a 3rd boy at this point if we went for 3. So it's kind of a whirlwind of emotions.
Apparently, the older you get as the father, the more likely you are of having a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So technically your odds will be better the next time around at 3 and definitely at 4.
So I wonder what the odds are being 33 and 34 of having back-to-back boys. Like is 33 and 34 considered on the older end of the spectrum?
I think not for the guy, but for the girl,
that's like
it
geriatric
is.
at that point.
The girl, it's close to geriatric pregnancy.
Right.
But yeah, we do determine the sex, and I'm not a doctor, but I did read one time that the older we get, the more likely it is that we have girls.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I can almost guarantee it'll be a boy.
It just depends how strong seed is, to be honest. What's your starting point?
I love that. Well, they're going to be separated by a grade, only a grade. That's the way it works out with the calendar year. So if I was going to have 2 boys, having them with that age gap, I think is like the coolest thing ever because obviously not to project my own interests onto these boys, but it would be pretty cool if they were a point guard and shooting guard or quarterback and wide receiver or doubles tennis. The world is their sports oyster.
The Irish twins, the Wright bros, the Smash Bros.
Be so sick.
Leading the squad to the state championship. Getting recruited to the same college.
Their father's
ESPN
keeper.
top 10.
Everything I never was.
Yeah.
Go kids. Anyways, just had to get out that. I'm pretty sure everyone already knew, but just as a big piece of news on my side. Anyways, going to the week 5 matchups. I'll just start from the top down here. At least what I'm seeing on my screen. Unseen Blade was matched up against Custom Made Griffin Hunter. Really fortunate showing for my guys. I was expecting a down week with some injuries and some bye weeks, but
you had a down whittle.
I had a down whittle. I warned Griffin Hunter before in the group chat. I really did not want to do it to him. But if there's one guy that's going to show up against Griffin Hunter, it is down whittle. He's heard all the chatter, all the bulletin board material. So yeah, 30 ball from Rico Dowdles. I'm pretty good. When Rico does that. So 159-102. I go to 4-1. Griffin goes to 1-4. We had the meat coated Skele against your team, the Shadow Brigade. Yeah, you were looking at the group chat of that of that image that Griffin Hunter posted.
Yeah, because
it was almost right.
AI image was close. 273 yards. I was just looking up, and I think he ended up with 235 all-purpose yards,
something like that.
So a little off on the touchdowns, 2 instead of 5, but
I was hoping for more. There should have been. He was getting cramps.
Yeah, meat on the bone.
Yeah, meat on the bone there. Meat on the bone.
There was probably another touchdown and at least 50 yards on the table.
I know. Speaking of meat on the bone, that meat-coated Skele, with a great showing this week, had some consecutive down weeks. His boys show up in a big way over the Shadow Brigade you had just mentioned. 78 doesn't typically get it done. Another 120 ball hung up against you there. Graham goes to 2-3. You go to 1-4. We had the Golden Age against Poetic Justice, a battle of 2 3-1 teams. Ben's trippy season continues. No Lamar, no problem. He slots in Darnold, who I don't think had broken 22 points or something on the season. He outproduces Lamar's best game of the season so far to a tune of almost 37. Egbuka to the moon with about 28. He still hangs 117. No Lamar, no Bijan. Takes out Jason. 2-game losing streak for Jay there. Although he did see some signs of life with Ladd getting in the end zone. JT continues his monstrous run. And then my favorite name in all of fantasy at this point, Wee Higgins. So shout out Jay for the Wee Higgins nickname.
Wee Higgins touchdown.
Wee Higgins got in the end zone there at the end to save an utterly catastrophic day from him. But 117-106, Ben improves to 4-1. Jason drops to 3-2. We had the outlier against Titan Reaper, Brendan against Evan this game. And we'll talk about this in a second, what was on the line in that last night. But this game was, one of the best of the night. Evan ends up squeaking it out by 0.1 points, 116.82 to 116.72. Evan improves to 3-2, 2-game winning streak. Brennan drops the second game in a row. He's down to 3-2. Casey's $1,500 team goes back-to-back weeks hanging 120 plus in the midst of what many thought was potentially a downturn for him. I think he had scored like an average of 75 or 80 the previous few games before that, and then takes me out last week and literally by the hair on Griffin's chinny chin, he loses by 0.7 or so. And what would be for most people in the league a very curious and dispute filled game. And we haven't heard a peep out of Casey. Not sure if he even knows the drama that's going on with that. But
not sure. We'll get into that. But
what would you be doing, or what would you be like looking into? How would you have responded if you're Casey?
If I was on the losing side of it, that's rough. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like when you're watching your team play and the refs make a call that totally is the wrong call, but it goes in your team's favor. It just, I mean,
I'm just assuming you're Casey and that whole thing transpired, and there's Griffin Springfield saying good game in the chat and giving the explanation why, and you're looking on Sleeper or ESPN and the AZ defense is 6 points. Like, are you not sending a single text out or making a peep at all?
If I saw it, for sure, I'd be like, going back and forth. I'd be no, like Sleeper says this, ESPN says that. It doesn't make any sense. Like the logic's not there. But ultimately, we don't have any control over anything that happens. So this is a good example of that. Feels great for Spring, really bad for Casey.
2-3. Casey's $1,500 team, and Griffin Springfield 2 games in a row here, really finding the rhythm. He improves to 2-3 off the back of that win. And then last game of the week, we had the Lucanine in a rivals match against Kendall. No pride, no data. Luke takes it 123 to 93. Luke improving to 3-2. Kendall dropping to 2-3. And that was our week 5 recap, Sam.
Week 5 recap. Again, it all came down to Monday night. I love when important matchups come down to the last game of the week. Oh, and not only did it come down to Monday night, it came down to literally the last play of the game. And here was the situation. If Patrick Mahomes completes a pass, instead of trying an 85-yard Hail Mary, which true story in the history of the NFL has never worked. They said, Patrick, you're a generational QB. You're the best QB that's ever lived. You're going to go throw this ball 85 yards into the end zone. Well, I think he threw it about 65 yards, and that was that. Had he done the typical, let's hook and ladder, let's lateral our way to a potential win, Brendan gets the win. And potentially Casey gets the win if Travis Kelce's credited with a catch or gains 5 yards on that play. So really crazy, exciting stuff.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, that's kind of stuff never happens.
Never happens.
If you're Brendan in that situation, you're thinking 99% chance I'm winning here. Like
you're waiting for that hike and that easy 15-yard pass to, and
then once it gets caught, no, unless it somehow gets back to Pat and he gets hit while he's trying to lateral, but typically he's the one that's further back, so he's not doing that.
Yep.
He's probably not getting credited with the fumble. That's going to be a positional player. And what's funny is in that situation, especially as it pertains to the Chiefs, Kelce is usually that first catch. Like he's running to do that first lateral. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's going to be a little Kelce like 9-yard slant here across the middle. He'll catch it. He'll start this whole thing, get it in motion. And then as that happens, it's probably going to go bam, Brendan, bram, Casey. And I was texting Spring earlier, like if Kareem Hunt and Kelce this game on Monday night combined for I think they needed 34 or something like that,
Yeah,
33 and a half or something.
like that, yeah.
That would be one of the worst losses I've seen. Like, obviously it's not impossible. Like Kelsey can have a Kelsey game like he had, and Hunt can fall into the end zone once or twice, but the odds must have been 2% to me sounded pretty spot on.
3 touchdowns between the two of them. They needed 34. They got 33.8.
Craziness. I would have felt so bad. I was like, Spring, there's no way, dude. You won when Kendrick Bourne scored 19 on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely wild. The comeback. And here's the controversy. Depending on which fantasy app you use, the comeback was complete.
Yeah.
Spring's defense, the Arizona Cardinals, given an extra point at some point in the game because of a really wonky play where Tennessee threw an interception. The Arizona Cardinals then fumbled that reception, which the Tennessee offense recovered for a touchdown. However, that touchdown recovery on the Yahoo app was credited to Tennessee's defense. Therefore, Arizona was not docked the 1 point for giving up that touchdown. To me, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like we're split. The NFL.com and Yahoo scored it that way with Tennessee D getting the touchdown. Sleeper and ESPN did not score it that way. Arizona Cardinals only had 6 points. And even in the Yahoo app, if you clicked on Arizona's defense, it listed them as 6 points on their pop-up. But in the matchup, it listed them as 7. So really wonky. I'm assuming between Arizona and Tennessee that this affected thousands of finishes throughout the fantasy football world.
Oh yeah.
And
Arizona was the number one ranked defense for this week. So
people streaming Arizona against Tennessee.
They were being played in every fantasy league across the nation.
I believe Spring, you spent $4 or $5 to pick them up, and it's a good pickup. Tennessee's been just free points for whatever defense they're playing. And it worked out for you because they got that 7 points instead of 6, and you get the win. So tough pill to swallow for Casey. Really weird. Probably the weirdest non-stat correction finish that I can remember.
Yeah. I guess a little bit of karma coming back Spring's way after that wonky ending.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago in the beginning of the season with DJ Moore and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So craziness. We'll see if that comes back to make a major impact later in the season. I mean, it's a win. It's a win and a loss for two people. So I'm sure that's gonna, that could be a season defining win for Griffin Springfield in same way. Conversely for Casey.
Casey, if he gets that win, has a winning record, 3-2. Buy some more time to figure out this running back situation. Buy some more time to figure out if Joe Flacco is going to make a difference in Cincinnati. So crazy. Anyways, that's that. That's week 5.
Week 5 in the books. Week 5 in the books. I would have figured when I chatted with you for the first time post week 5 that you would have a slightly different disposition, a slightly different demeanor. And so I was pleasantly surprised to see how optimistic you still are, and just how forthright your confidence is. That being said, I have to do what I have to do as a co-manager of our mental health institute. And because of that, it's my responsibility to get you into a safe space. Okay. Whether you think you need it or not, sometimes you need people around you to pull it out of you. Okay. And that's exactly what we do. So we're heading into week 6. While you might think you're okay, I'd like to welcome you into this beautiful, bright wallpaper colored walls. And I would like you to take a seat next to unnamed person over here, but we've got some great people that are going to present and inspire today and motivate. This is our pre-week 6 suicide watch, and you are the first member in the room, Sam. So make yourself comfortable. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. It can be decaf. I know you've looked like you've had a couple already. Grab yourself a nice fresh pastry and sit and decompress a little bit. You know, you might not be super hung up, but you did just drop 78 points. I'm looking at, you've got 0.44 more points than Griffin Hunter on the season, which is the low mark in the league. You've got wide receivers that don't want to be healthy at all. And those are the guys that you needed to be healthy based on how you built your team. And you're 1-4. So come on in. You're my pick for the Suicide Watch week 6.
You know, I think I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. I am still optimistic. I do think I have a good team. I think it's just been one of those years so far. But I think I have a solid team. But that being said, I was watching a video on Instagram today of these 2 stuffed animals that were best friends. And one of the stuffed animals got stuck in a bowl of water. And the other stuffed animal ran to save him.
Was this Toy Story?
No, it was stop motion. And the stuffed animal that ran to save his friend that was stuck in water got snagged on a nail on the floor on his way and started unraveling.
Oh, no.
And as he's sprinting, he's unraveling more and more and more. But his friend or whoever, this other stuffed animal, is dying in this bowl of water.
This is morbid. I'm trying to figure out which
M83,
one you are.
M83 is playing like just this
epic,
one of their epic songs. Yeah. And right at the crescendo of the music, the little dinosaur stuffed animal jumps with literally all that he has left. And you see him unwinding in slow motion until it's just his eye. And then his eye unwinds until it's just a piece of yarn.
Oh, connected to like the eyeball?
The eye is yarn, like everything was yarn.
Oh,
and so everything unwinds until it's literally just yarn connected to the nail that it got stuck on. But that piece of yarn goes in the bowl.
And the guy grabs it.
And the friend grabs it and pulls himself out of the bowl. And I was sobbing, dude. I was like, I had tears running down my face.
That's
so
beautiful.
That's all to say. Maybe I am taking this fantasy thing a little harder than
just
I thought.
Internalize it in a way it's compartmentalized in a space that you don't even know that it exists, or you can't even access it, but it's manifesting itself as you watch animated stuffed animals disintegrate.
Video unlocked.
That's amazing. And, so that is honestly not where I thought that was going. I thought you were gonna use it for like a metaphor for yourself or some, but it's just the emotional impact of that.
Yeah, it's a crazy video.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey,
I watched it like 6 times. I was sitting on my balcony, just tears running down my face.
That's something I would do.
Yeah.
In about 30 minutes, we'll unpack that.
Okay. Perfect.
Have a seat.
Well, we got to invite someone else into the room, and there's one empty chair, so it has to be like this. Unfortunately, Hunter, you got to come in the room and take a seat. And you're familiar with the space. You know where the coffee is. You know where the donuts are. But here's the good news, Hunter. For one of us, we are playing each other this week. We are both 1-4. We are both the dregs of the league this season. But one of us is not going to be in the room next week unless something crazy happens where like one of us gets a win, but our entire team was injured in the process. One of us is not going to be in this room next week. So, let that be a beacon of hope for both of us as you munch your donut and drink your coffee.
Oh man. Shout out Dowdle. I'm sorry. It's just gotta, It's not fun when you're watching Dowdle and the early games go for 30. So.
Especially when it's Rico Dowdle, who has I can think back to like these performances, like he had 230 all-purpose yards, multiple touchdowns, right? Or maybe just one, doesn't matter.
Can't make it up.
You think about the people through the years, the random bench running backs who've stepped in and just had these crazy performances. And like, this was one of them. It was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
all time.
Yeah.
I mean, if it probably doesn't make feel any better, but if you took away the 30 from Rico, it
doesn't make a difference.
Same result. So
it's honestly just the salt on the wound. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like he didn't lose because Dowdle went off. So maybe that helps.
I don't think it probably doesn't help.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It probably doesn't help. But that was our week 6 Suicide Watch. Could be completely different next week. Could be pretty close to the same.
Pretty much the same. probably 50% of it is going to be the same. We'll have to see.
I guess we'll see.
Anyways, moving on, little bit of housekeeping, I guess, or just some quick check on some transaction stuff in the league.
Fill us in. There was some stuff that happened right as we were hopping on the pod.
Yes. So we got a report on the big trade of the week. Brendan and Graham got together, the front offices, back and forth calls. I heard they were up all night, but they hammered out a deal. Brendan sends Travis Etienne, potentially one of the steals, or definitely one of the steals of the draft, RB1, playing RB1 level.
Yeah.
Off to Graham, who is a running back factory, but has found himself in dire need of running back help. And in return, Brendan, the running back whisperer, I've heard, he's the Kevin McDonald of fantasy football running backs.
Kevin McConnell?
Kevin McConnell, yeah. Not Mike McDonald.
He's the Ronald McDonald.
He's the Ronald McDonald house.
A quarterback whisperer.
Anyways, gets Chase Brown, preseason stud, who has not lived up to expectations, and Darren Waller, who I believe Brendan had revived in Fab a couple of weeks ago then dropped, but he gets him back on the squad.
In one transaction cycle, I believe.
Yeah, it was bang, bang. It was wake up. I got Darren Waller. Great. I'm going to drop him and pick up someone else because I know that I'm going to get him back in a couple of weeks. So this trade goes down. Interesting trade. Can I get your thoughts on this trade? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think moving off Chase Brown is great for Graham. Obviously, he didn't need Waller. And so the fact that he was able to trade Chase for a player that's been so valuable, I think I'm shocked by it, honestly. I think Brennan's taken some leaps of faith for sure, and a lot of them have worked out. So, maybe this Joe Flacco thing just completely revolutionizes or just brings this Bengals offense back to life in a way that they're not good as a team, but they're just competent and the pieces are more functional and less likely to completely ruin your lineup. But I mean, Chase Brown was being drafted as a guy you spend $40 on, $44 on, $38 on, high round 2 running back, if you're talking about ADP. And that's a guy that I think has averaged like 8 points, 7 points. Like he fell into the end zone week 1, I think, to get him into the low double digits. Besides then, I don't think he's hit double digits. And I was telling Graham, Chase Brown got 8 points last week. That felt like good.
7 catches.
Yeah. I mean, he had 7 catches and still ended with 8 points, I think. But the fact that he had 8 points, I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad for the circumstances. So to move on a player like that and get a guy who's been, RB9 overall in the season is pretty nice. I think personally that Brendan probably could have gotten more for Etienne if he shopped around, but maybe, it's just one of those Brendan trades. Really believes in Waller's place in that offense and has seen enough to, especially with Hill going out, that he's going to be, a guy that is going to really sort of solidify that tight end spot for him so he doesn't have to stream. And, maybe Flacco comes in there and makes Chase a viable starter now. He likes to dump it off to the running backs a lot. So, So maybe we'll see. And then Etienne, he's been a surprise. A lot of people say he's a sell high. You see that a lot. So maybe the trajectory is pointing down. In which case I still think it's a win-win. Graham doesn't need Waller, and Brown, I don't think is better than Etienne in any way, shape, or form. So even if Etienne's arrow is slightly pointing down, it's a win.
Yeah, you gotta think it can't get worse for Chase Brown. Their schedule lightens up a little bit. They got a bye week to maybe get things figured out. So it can't get worse, I guess. And I guess it's not really buying low on Chase Brown and it's not really selling high on Etienne, but it does sort of just smell of a trade that will end up working out for both of them. I don't know. It just, these things, Brendan's got a nose for these trades.
Exactly. Unless Etienne really dips and Chase really picks it up, this is kind of a no-brainer for Graham on Graham's side. Now the Brendan side is where, you think, Waller has to be something, right? But that's really possible. So you're right. I mean, there's a high chance that this ends up working out for both of them. It's only going to require Waller being viable and Chase having a uptick in production, which, like you said, can't get any worse. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But that happened really just like in live time. But I especially like it for Graham being able to get off. He sends a backup tight end and a guy that I think in his mind was borderline unplayable. So works out.
Works out in somewhat active fab cycle here. We'll just highlight some of the bigger moves. Obviously, with Omarion going down, the Chargers running backs, probably the bells of the ball. Son Haskins ends up on the aforementioned meat-coated Skelly squad. And Kamani Vidal ends up with the Titan Reaper. Evan obviously having been the one to suffer the Marion injury. But question for you here. Obviously, Hassan on the depth chart is ahead of Kamani. Kamani's been inactive most of the season until last week. Kamani goes for $10 more than Hassan. And Evan did not even put a bid in for Hassan. And Graham, who got Hassan, didn't put a bid in for Kamani. So what's your take on this? Who's the right pick? Who got the right guy here?
Yeah, well, my take on that is it's split. Like, I think it's split amongst whoever you ask. It's split if you Google it, if you look at quote unquote experts' opinions on it. So I think it's just going to be all over the place, and it's kind of whatever information you're choosing to digest, whatever resonates with you. When it comes to like the Chargers offense, I think, Hassan is going to be that more of that early down back. He's really beloved by Jim Harbaugh. Like Harbaugh just loves him, Michigan guy. And I think that goes a long way. He's nothing special at all. He's not dynamic, but it looks like he's going to be in line for a lot of carries unless they bring someone in. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but they'll probably just try to ride out the storm. When it comes to the bid amounts, I think it's just anyone's guess. My guess was that Haskins was going to get one for around 25 instead of 21, pretty close. I had no idea about Vidal. I would have assumed lower. And if you look at the other bids, that does reflect that. But, when it's a guy, if, you feel a particular way about someone getting a lot of opportunity and run, you're just going to put in a bid to try to get him. And that's what Evan did with 31. So that's like a bid where it's like, I'm probably going to win it. And if I spend a little bit extra, I spend a little bit extra. So I don't really think there's a right or wrong thing. My personal opinion is this is really, it's all about your roster. Mm-hmm. Your roster is going to dictate whether what you spent was right or wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Like personally, I don't need one of those guys. And so there's really not a dollar amount that I was going to want to bid on them. I think it's going to be a headache. I don't think either one of them is talented enough to, really take the backfield by force and earn the majority of the workload, especially as it pertains to a 3-down role. And I personally think that they're probably just going to lean on Herbert a little bit more. But the Chargers they're in an interesting crossroads here because they are lacking the running back talent. And so you would think that would make them want to lean on Herbert, but their offensive line is completely decimated. I'm talking to like, not just the two big tackles. Like everyone, if you don't follow the Chargers closely, you just think it's like, the two best tackles in the league, or at least tandem, are hurt. No, they got interior linemen hurt. Everyone's hurt. And Herbert's been pressured more times than anyone in the league at this point. Like he's getting hit left and right. It's like they're the Panthers or a worse organization. Like that's basically what Herbert's dealing with. And that's how you lose to the Giants. That's how you lose to the Commanders back-to-back games. So we'll see. They're going to talent on the running back side dictates let's lean on Herbert, but the offensive line situation dictates let's not get Herbert killed by dropping back a million times. It'll be interesting to see, but bottom line is I don't think you can feel really comfortable with either of those guys unless you needed bodies and, they are going to produce that because they'll have some role in a Chargers offense that should move the ball decently.
As far as I know, both played 14 snaps last week. Kamani was much more efficient with his touches. And I don't know, he kind of gives me Austin Eckler vibes. but time will tell who made the right choice there. One other thing I want to call out, just because I really wanted this defense. Green Bay, Hunter gets his Green Bay, gets his defense, $14 for the defense. I had a $6 bid in. So did Ben. You were in for $5. Great defense, probably in a smash spot this week. $14, guaranteed to hang 20 on me this week. How do you feel about that?
Take notes, Sam. $14 defense. I think it's all about trying to win it, right? Like, so if he bids $8 and wins it by the skin of his teeth, right? Then he saves $6. If you're feeling like this defense, it's not just this week. They've got games lined up against
they've got
bad
a great,
teams.
Tasty looking schedule for about the next 6 weeks.
They've got 4 really good matchups in a row here. You don't have to think about defense again after you put in the bid for him. I like to do it. I know Springfield likes to do it. Brent, like there's a few of us that like to spend a couple dollars a week almost on defensive matchups, right? So I like it. I wouldn't have thought. I put in 5 and I thought maybe I get it, maybe I don't. I don't know. 50-50. I think 10 would have been like, okay, feel reasonably comfortable you get it, but 14 is just a little bit above that, and you're locking it in a spot that you feel good about.
You're guaranteed to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Griffin's 1-4, right? That's a starter. There's 9 starters that you start. That's one of them, right? And if you think that's going to make a major impact, he's got to win now. So I like the aggressiveness there. And what is he saving it for? If that's going to be the best use of his fab this week to make his roster better this week to try to win,
I'm a fan.
All about it.
I'm a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of it because I wanted him and I have to freaking play him now. And we're both in the room, Hunter. Gosh, man.
Take note, Sam. Take note. So that was a little bit of just a quick fab trade recap, State of the Union. I think we're all caught up now, going in officially to week 6. I did want to, because things have changed, I think, so dynamically from the beginning of the season. It's only been 5 weeks, but man, what a difference 5 weeks can make. So I thought it might be fun. And we're in that part of the show where we're going to quote unquote pick up the pace here, because we like to
start moving.
We like to chit chat on the front end and not give the back end enough time. So we're going to kind of move through here, but I wanted to do a mini 2-round redraft. 2025, week 5 in the books, redraft.
Let's do it.
So what I'm thinking is we'll go snake. Obviously, we're not going to do it fab. You can equate the fab however you want, or the auction dollar amount salary cap. We'll go snake style. Just go one at a time. We'll do a 2-round draft pick. So we each picks. Get 12. We'll go 24. Okay. Or you know what we can do? We can let's just both do 10.
Okay.
10 picks down the line.
Perfect.
Let's not worry about team comp. Let's just draft them as if it's the best player available. And you're just drafting in that style. Just to see where we land. Things are so different that I just think it would be fun to quickly do it. Let's give ourselves like literally a 10-second limit for each of these picks. We'll just rattle them off, and hopefully we don't repeat people because we're not writing this down.
Yeah, keep us honest, chat. All right.
Does that work?
That works.
All right.
You take honors.
First?
You go first.
Okay. All right. So first pick in the draft, I'm going to go ahead and take, and this is trippy. I think, in my opinion, at this point, there would be 4 people that you're kind of looking at. In my opinion, for me, that would be Puka, Bijan, JT, and Gibbs that I would consider for this first spot. I'm already way past 10 seconds, so let me stop monologuing here. So my first pick, I am going to go with Jonathan Taylor.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll take Bijan.
You'll take Bijan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. You'll take Bijan over. Okay.
I'll take Bijan.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take Puka.
All right. I got Gibbs. Wow. What a sick 2-headed monster that is.
JT and Puka is insane.
Yeah.
I like JT and Puka.
JT and Puka is really sick.
I like it. Okay. With my third pick, I'm going to go ahead and take, this is a little trippy. I'm going to go ahead and take Amon-Ra.
That was my pick.
I'm going to take Amon-Ra.
Okay. So with my third pick, I got to go CMC. I'm just building a running back factory here.
Okay. All right. CMC. I like it. Man, this is where, okay. You know what? My fourth pick, I'm going to go with my guy. I'm going to go JSN.
Dude, you're sniping me, man. I hate drafting behind you. I hate drafting behind you,
My
man.
team's sick, dude. My team
Your team is
sick.
looking really sick. With my 4th pick, I got to go with my boy, Harry McLaurin. No, I'm just kidding. I am.
It gets interesting. Now
we're getting a little.
It gets interesting.
I think I'm going to go Bucky.
Bucky, really?
I'm going to go Bucky. And
Wow.
obviously, we're assuming he's not injured and doesn't have all these, this is fresh, right? Or are we assuming?
No. We're right now, we're assuming.
Oh, right now forward, knowing everything we know about injury.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going Bucky. I'm going to go Devon A-Chain.
All right. I like it. My guy. That's a good pick. It's a solid pick.
I have all running backs.
I'm going to go with my 5th pick. I'm going to go ahead and take Saquon still.
Okay.
I'm going to take Saquon. I think there's plenty of meat on the bone there for him. And he's still, even in a slow start, I think he's still averaging like 15 points a game or something.
Okay, I like it. My 5th pick, I'm going to go CD. I think he's going to be back next week.
Okay.
Hopefully. And he's just a beast.
I like it. That's actually a really smart pick. I'm a fan of that. All right. So 6th pick, my 6th pick, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson.
All right.
I'm going to take him. His floor has been proven to be pretty high of late, even though he hasn't had a ceiling game. I'll take JJ.
All right.
Which is what? That was like the 12th overall pick or something. That was my 6th
pick. Yeah.
So, and he was going top 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my 6th pick, given everything we've seen thus far, I got a decision to make here. 10, 9, 8. I think this is a tough one, but I think I got to go James Cook.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you picked James Cook because I was hoping you'd leave this guy. And I'm going to take him at a big discount here, but I'm going to go Jamar for my 7th pick.
I was deciding between Jamar
I'm
and
going
James.
to go Jamar here for my 7th pick.
Just not sure that we'll get into this later. But yeah, anyways. Okay.
God, my team is
Yours
team
7?
is considerably better than yours at this point.
No, I don't think so. You see all my running backs? 7th pick, right? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yep.
And 7th pick, I'm so glad we're not actually dealing with team comp here. But given that, I think I got to take a gander. I think I'm going to go Nico Collins.
Nico. Okay. All right. I like it. Okay. With my 8th pick, I'm going to go ahead and take Josh Jacobs.
That's a good pick.
I know my team is.
Your team's
I
pretty
already
good.
beat it. Yeah.
It was pretty good. With my 8th pick, Kyle Pitts. No tight ends off the board yet.
No
tight ends off the board yet.
I wouldn't advise taking one either.
I am going to. Jeez, man, it's getting snaky right now. With my 8th pick,
Do you need some help?
I'm going with my boy, Rome.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not bad. Really not a bad pick at all. Okay.
But I should have picked someone else.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take a pick here. Well, I'm leaving one for my last pick that I'm hoping you don't snipe.
Okay.
So this is my 9th. And for my 9th pick, this might surprise you. I'm going to go Josh Allen.
I like that. I like it. With my 9th pick, Emeka.
You sniped it. That's
he's so sick, dude.
I was thinking about going that. He can't possibly keep it up though. Like if
I
you
don't
were,
know, man. Why
I mean,
not?
you can't. Literally, he can't. He's at like historic rookie pace here.
But history is made sometimes.
Evans, Godwin's gonna be working in. I know they occupy different parts of the field. Evans is those Cosmos are. I get nervous because the wind like just really takes them out, and there's some really important nature stuff going on those plants. So relax, God, come on. All right, my last pick, my 10th pick. Man, you took my guy. I'm gonna bank on this rest of season upside here. I'm gonna take Drake London.
I like it, and I will end my draft on Bucky.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
it's good.
So
solid.
Big names that didn't get picked in our quick, totally legit redraft. Derrick Henry, not taken. Ashton Genty, not taken. These are, first round guys. Obviously, Chase Brown not taken.
Second round guys, yeah. Brock McBride.
Yeah, no tight ends off the board. Only Josh Allen off the board.
AJ Brown.
Not taken.
Brian Thomas.
Yep. BTJ not taken. Ladd not taken. So
Kieran Williams.
Yeah,
he's
Kyron
right there.
Kyron's probably should have been taken, given all things considered. But interesting stuff. A lot of those, it's just been a very strange year. I think, I don't know about you, but before we drafted, I had a heavy focus on running back because I felt that there was like the wide receiver situation was so much clearer and there were so many more options.
Yeah.
And I think it's really kind of flipped. There just seems to be so much more consistency and depth in the running back week to week.
Yeah.
From a running back standpoint this season than wide receiver when you think about those, especially first and second round guys that have just not been very good this year.
It's been such an interesting year. And I'll tie this back to the conversation we were having about Quentin Johnston and like his production and where that puts him as far as like a, wide receiver one so far. And is that sustainable? And I just think the perception of what a wide receiver one is or wide receiver two at this point, like is going down, right? Like, and you have to sort of adjust your expectations for it. I was kind of mentioning this to Springfield. My personal opinion is like this year has kind of been the year of the high floor, like what you're hoping for, at least my observation and like the way that I'm hoping for my team is like, I as long as I can have people in my lineup that won't score 3 or 4, like that won't nuke me. Like maybe they don't score 16, 17, 18, 20, but if they can get to that double digit marker and you have a bunch of them and maybe a couple break 15, like you're setting yourself up to have a good chance at winning this year because it's a muddled sort of grouping. Like, and that shows itself when you look at sort of rest of season rankings for different people, where it's like, you look at guys in the wide receiver room, like Sutton and Tet and Waddle and AJ and Zay, like those guys are all, and even like Rome, like before the season, those guys were thought about in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round of fantasy drafts. And now those are all like, good high-end wide receiver 2s with potential wide receiver 1 upside, because you look at the people on the low end of wide receiver 1 and you got like Garrett Wilson, who's really talented, but people tend to think is overperforming at this point.
Yeah. Another guy that probably should have
been drafted. Like you got guys that are hurt, Lamb hurt, JJ in a weird situation, Collins in a weird offense situation. It's just weird. And in running back, as you just need to find guys that get opportunity. Like there's just not a lot of guys that are doing what JT's doing right now. Mm-hmm. And I think, or even like a Gibbs with his consistency, like you look at JT, Gibbs and Bijan, like those are kind of the cream of the crop where you're kind of as a manager, you're expecting them to hit 20, but besides that, you just want guys that are going to have a chance. Everyone makes fun of DeAndre Swift, but look at his point totals this year. It's like, he's not nuking my lineup. Like he's pitching in. So, and I think that's like the kind of running back, especially RB2, that like most people are kind of hoping to have in their lineup at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know enough about offensive schemes and all that, but it seems like the game has changed. I can't remember a time where offenses have been spreading the ball around to so many different pass catchers. Yeah. There have always been those teams that have the Jamar and the T. Higgins, but you look across the league and there are so many teams with so many viable pass catchers. I'm talking about in real life, dudes that you want, that they want to get the ball. Yeah. And it's having an effect in fantasy. I mean, how many viable fantasy starters there are as far as pass catchers on so many different teams this year? I can't really remember that, but it becomes throwing darts from a week to week, is 100%. This week Devontae Smith's week or is it AJ Brown's week? Yeah. It's probably not going to be both of their week.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And that's a great point. And it makes me more confident in the opportunity side of things, where even if they aren't like attached to the best quarterback, a la Garrett Wilson, even if maybe they aren't the best talent in the world, like you really kind of want to have that wide receiver 1 of the team as your guy. These like wide receiver 2s on their own team, even if they're individually talented and playing with potentially a good offense, like don't seem to be working out as much this year. Pickens is flourishing, but CD's been out, right?
Yeah,
but
he's been like, the number 1. Yeah.
So it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out, but it's thought to be cool to kind of rehash the draft to see how that changed from, preseason to now. I think we just got a couple of minutes left. Honestly, I think we'll just run through a really quick 6-pack of questions for you. In light of it being week 6, I got a 6-pack of questions for you, Sam. Brought to you, of course, as always, by Miller Lite. First one, as always, thank you, Miller Lite. Thank you for the sponsors. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling for you. First question for you as we move and groove to the end of the podcast. We will finish with Gamber's Alley. But first, here we go. Are the Bengals back to fantasy relevance with the Joe Flacco signing? I'm not saying your pre-season rankings or the way you drafted them, but are they now viable in a way that makes you excited to have them in your lineup?
I'm not sure that Joe Flacco does anything for this situation. 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who was so bad he got benched in Cleveland, playing behind a better offensive line, definitely throwing to less talented people, but you're telling me you're going to bring this guy in and that's your fix? I mean,
not the team. As an owner of Jamar, T. Higgins, or Chase, are you feeling better?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I just don't know that Joe Flacco is a marked upgrade from Jake Browning in terms of your pass catching players or even Chase Brown's opportunity on that offense.
All right.
Their schedule's going to get better. Maybe you trust that Joe Flacco with his starting experience and veteran experience will make better reads,
and Chase Brown is on Brennan's team now.
And Chase Brown's on Brennan's team, so he's an RB1 the rest of the season for sure.
Let's go, Pete.
But I'm going to say I'm not very excited about it as if I'm a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown owner.
Okay. Not moving the deal for you, Sam. Okay, I got it. All right, crack open. Bottle number 2. Is Derrick Henry suddenly a buy low candidate, or might we be witnessing the tail end of his elite fantasy run?
He's a buy low candidate for sure, but I do think it's a little bit of both. He is old. The team there's something in the water with the Ravens. Obviously, this Lamar injury is tough, but there's a chance Lamar's coming back to a team that's potentially out of playoff contention. Mm-hmm. And Derek is north of 30. He is not the dominant fantasy running back that he was until last year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, what a run.
Okay. All right. Quick question off of that. If you're Luke, are you looking to trade him? And if you're a league member, are you looking to trade for him?
If I'm Luke, I'm looking to trade him definitely. And if I'm a league member, I'm looking to trade for him depending on how Luke values him.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Number 3, AJ Brown. The AJ Brown debate, which is a lot easier to stomach when you're 4-1 like Ben is. Is it ever going to happen? They just had a little team meeting, the 3 of them, with Jalen Hurts, Saquon, and Brown. So much chatter. The offense looks janky. Do you just hold on to him always because you don't think you're going to get the value that the hypothetical ceiling of him brings? Or do you finally let bygones be bygones if you're Ben and try to trade him? Is the AJ Brown thing ever going to happen?
Well, if you're Ben, here's what's going to happen. If you keep him, it's never going to happen. If you trade him, it will definitely happen the week after you trade him.
Sure. So what's harder to stomach?
Yeah, that's a tough one. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon because they just lost. They're not undefeated anymore. They're going to have to figure the situation out. AJ's being all cryptic. I can only assume the locker room's a bad situation in Philly. Right. So I do think it will start happening.
AJ just doesn't fit the vibe of that team.
Doesn't fit the vibe.
Especially not Jalen Hurts.
He's an alpha, and there's just not a lot of opportunity. Devontae's really sick on the other end, especially when AJ draws Patrick Surtain all game. Devontae's sick, and he's going to just tear apart Riley Moss and is going to be open for whatever, 10 catches, 130 yards or whatever it was, So it's going to keep happening. But AJ obviously is sick. He was top 5 past couple of years, but this is just what he does, man. You've had him. I've had him. You got to ride the AJ roller coaster. And some weeks that's 3 touchdowns and 120 yards. And the next week it's 1 catch for 9 yards on 11 targets.
This is a conversation I had with Ben early about AJ Brown, where it's like, he's probably not going to rattle off 5 straight. I mean, I remember a few years ago when you had him, he did go on like a sustained run of excellence for a while, but then he fell back and was
right at the most inopportune time.
Yeah. When I had him last year, it was very hit or miss, like very inconsistent. And, I told Ben, like, you're probably not going to be able to bank on him just turning it around in every single week, giving you 20 or 15 or whatever. So like if you're an AJ Brown owner, like you kind of need to have the pieces around him to where him having a 4-point week, right?
Yep.
And early on with Ben's team, it looked like maybe that was a question mark. Hey, he's 4-1. He's been wearing it. AJ's had one good game out of 5. So it looks like Ben has the team to do it. He stumbled into it and now he's in a good situation to let it ride. So we'll see how it goes. 49ers, they're 4-1 on a mystery. They can't seem to get healthy. Everyone is banged up every other week. Even when players come back, they get hurt again. CMC is somehow the only guy who hasn't been hurt. Are the 49ers just going to break this dude in a couple weeks? Is he going to make it to the end of the season?
No, he's not going to make it to the end of the season. I feel like this is the thing I'm most confident about on this list.
Okay.
He will get injured and the team will suffer. I think he's averaging 2.4 yards per carry or something like that. His receiving's kept him alive and the team alive.
I think he's like, I think if you just took his receiving stats, he'd be like a top 6 fantasy wide receiver.
Yeah, I think but they will break him. He's 29 years old. He's averaging like 30 touches a game. He's getting hit left and right. And unfortunately, Brian Robinson Jr. sucks and has none of the receiving capability that CMC has, nor do they have a team that is going to put forth a power runner to success based on what we've seen with CMC. So it's just a matter of time. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. Hopefully it happens in the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, after our season's done, but we'll see.
Can we pivot real quick back to the last point? I just want, Ben, if you're listening at this point, can you drop an eagle for AJ Brown and the Eagles? If you're listening, please, little eagle. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. All right. Number 5. We're getting woozy now. We're almost through with this 6-pack here. This one is particularly close to you and your team. I traded for this guy in my Boise league as well. That's just absolutely somehow horrible, even though I feel like I have good pieces. Is Tet season ever going to happen? The hype train was crazy. Everyone's saying buy low, buy low. Everyone's saying he's so talented. His route tree is crazy. His target participation is up there. He's the number 1 by far, and just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the only thing missing from Tet season right now is the touchdowns. That's it. His yardage is great. Obviously, his opportunity is probably like top 3 in the league in terms of wide receivers, his target share, routes run, everything like that. It's just the touchdowns. So I do think that they'll come. I do think he still has wide receiver 15-ish potential. It helps getting Xavier Legette back. Bryce is just a really bad quarterback, but hopefully, with now that Dowdle's in town, they can figure something out and take some pressure off of Bryce. But I still think that it's going to happen.
Season. Okay. All right. That was a good answer by you. You would hope for. And then the last one, this one is a sort of a larger question, larger topic, but in light of McBride not being the guy that people drafted, in light of, I know this is kind of due to injury, but Brock going down week 1 and it's been hurt all year and officially finally getting put out. Does the tight end position even matter?
This year it doesn't. And that's purely because the top 3 dogs, Kittle, Brock, Trey, are in situations where...
I forgot Kittle. Sorry, Kittle. Sorry, Ken. I forgot.
Kittle. Well, he's been injured all year, right? Yeah. When he comes back, he is going to potentially be the only elite tight end on a team that's capable of supporting him being an elite tight end from a fantasy perspective. The Raiders look like they're a mess. Obviously, Brock's been injured. I think he's probably playing on 60%, if that, right now. And Trey is just on a team where opportunity is cannibalized by the team being bad. So unfortunately this season, I have to say it doesn't matter. Obviously you're way better off with Trey McBride in your lineup than Drew Sample, but
not Drew Sample, is it?
But there's just a lot of options, and the difference between those elite tight ends and Mason Taylor, who you picked up, great pickup. I don't know. It's close. It's close enough, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer to see all those guys just being in situations where they can't produce. They're all super talented. Obviously, selfishly with Brock, getting to see him for 3 quarters healthy, run around like a gazelle, yards after the catch, it's a guy that just looks different. Clearly cream of the crop at his position. So, Yeah, year of streaming, year of guys. You just hope they get opportunity. Jake Ferguson has been the guy besides Pickens, probably even more looks than Pickens in the Cowboys offense. So yeah, if you can just stumble across guys that get opportunity, looks like Mason Taylor's been getting those looks the last couple games with the Jets. So, all right, that was our 6-pack of questions brought to you by Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
And that concludes the majority of the show. We have one last familiar section. I guess you were close last week. You almost hit it.
Came down to that final throw.
It came. So if Casey and Brendan won, that you would have won.
No. If Casey and Brendan won, the thing is, they couldn't have both won because Casey, in order to win, Kelsey needed a catch.
Yeah. And Brendan, right? Oh, you had Evan.
I had Evan. Yeah, sorry. I had Evan.
Okay.
And yeah.
So close. Very close. Very close. I had no idea until Griffin said that. And even when he said that, was like, oh, there's no chance. But anyways, we are going Gambler's Alley week 6. Did I go first last week or did you?
I think I did. So you lead us off.
All right. I'll lead us off. First pick this week in Gambler's Alley. I'm looking at 6 the hard way. I'm going to ride this train. He has been moving and grooving. I like his matchups this week. So I'm going to take 6 the hard way over the outlier.
Let's go, Brennan, with your remade team. Darren Waller for 40. Chase Brown on a breakout game. I like it. Okay. I'll move on to just the next one on my list, which is Casey's $1,500 team versus Poetic Justice Jason on a 2-game losing streak. But, buddy, I'm going with you.
Why are you going with him?
I'm just, Casey's rolling out Jerome Ford and Brian Robinson Jr. I really should pick Casey because he's rolled out worse running back situation the last 2 weeks and scored, I think, a combined 100 points more than my team. So, but that's what I'm doing. Jay, let's keep it going. Let's see if we can get Ladd in the end zone again.
All right. I like it. Casey, you know what? Casey is almost like Thanos right now with the Infinity Gauntlet. He's just kind of inevitable with that team.
Yeah.
We thought he was down and out, and back-to-back 120 balls proves we know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at Titan Reaper and the Lucanine. I'm going to go with Evan here. Loses Hampton for a few weeks, but Drake coming back off a bye. Yeshua. I like the squad.
The Destroyer. Let's go, Luke. Let's keep it up. You're my pick to win the league this year, so let's keep it rolling, man. 3-2. All right, that leaves me with Ken and Ben. And this is maybe a little bit of a trippy matchup this week, although I got to go with Ben. I think he's going to stay hot. The team's looking good. A.J. Brown's going to feast on Thursday.
I really do have a feeling this week. I feel like if there was ever an A.J. Brown week, I feel like this week.
A.J. Brown's going to feast. It's going to put a lot of doubters, quite a lot of doubters. And it's got to be a 24-point game from A.J. Sam Darnold is him, I guess.
Sam Darnold is him. All right, now we don't usually do this, but in light of my history with Graham,
you want to pick it?
I want to pick it, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Graham because he just kind of bullies me around a lot. Like, no matter what the teams are, I feel like I can't get over the hump with Graham very often. So I'm going to go ahead and take that meat-coated Skelly.
And that leaves me with the picking the matchup of the week, the Shadow Brigade.
I see. There's a line around here. Matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week: the Shadow Brigade versus Griffin Hunter. Who can get out of the room? Custom made. The Shadow Brigade.
It is Bill season.
It's here's the thing, Hunter. I've told this to everyone that plays me. You're guaranteed 120 points. When you play the Shadow Brigade, some ancient curse or something like that. I know I'm preaching to the choir, buddy. So the question is, do I think I can...
Only 3 120 pluses on you.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 is not horrible. And I got one win on, one of the lower scoring ones. So, yeah. Can I score more than 120? And... I think I'm going to go I got to go with the troops. I got to go with the Shadow Brigade. I got to pick me. No reverse jinx this week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm proud of you. I'm actually shocked that you did that.
I am too, to be honest. I feel like I just reverse jinx myself.
So there's no shot?
There's no shot, man.
Alrighty, guys, that was week 6 Gambler's Alley. As always, if one of us gets lucky and wins, we roll that $100 into the next week. Right now, the pot is at 0, and it looks like it's probably going to stay at 0.
Boom.
Hoping for 1. But yeah, Sam, going into week 6, Shadow Brigade looking for a big victory.
Let's do it.
I'm hoping to roll into 5-1. Hopefully Rico Dowdle goes for 30 again.
5-1 would feel good.
It would it would feel pretty good. The more this thing goes along, man, the more we realize how little we know.
We know nothing.
I'm getting really restless. I'd love to make a trade. I'm hoping this upcoming week I want to make a trade. Guys, please, someone text me about a trade. Someone, come on. Text me about a trade. That does it, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of the FFtilD podcast. We're going to clock out now. Sam, do you have anything to say to the people before we go out and check on those praying mantises to see if one of them has a head still?
Good luck to everyone this week, except for you, Hunter.
Good luck, Graham. I picked you, so I believe. All right, guys. Love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Each time